Here are the outdoor hookups on the driver's side of the RV. This first one is a cable TV hookup. Next is an electrical hookup for 30 amp shore power. In this next box, it holds the sewer hose for the gray water tank. So if you take this out, I'll show you in the back of the RV how to hook the hose up to the gray water tank for emptying. So down here, you first need to remove this cap and then attach the hose. And then the water will be able to drain out this end. And then you will have to pull this lever in order to open the gate that's currently blocking the opening of the tank so you can empty the gray water. So then once you're done, take off the hose, put the cap back on, and then we'll put this back in its box. One thing to note when you're putting this back in the box, you may need to twist the hose a bit as you're pushing it to get it to go back in. And then over here on the driver's side, this is where you fill it up with regular gas. Towards the back we have the driver's side water hookups. This first box is for the fresh water fill. So you take off this cap. And then you can just put a hose and then fill the tanks up. And when you're done, just lock it back up. This next fill is a city fill, which allows you to hook directly to a hose instead of using the tank water. Please use our water pressure regulator when you attach a hose. Next, we have the propane hookups. This yellow cap is where you fill the propane. To turn the propane on and off, press this red button in the middle. And then this last part is used during filling to let you know when the tank is full, since the liquid will come out of it. So I'm going to show you how to use the electrical system. So first you want to open up the port for the electrical. And then before you do this, make sure you have the electrical turned off inside. So you want to take this end of the electrical cord, line it up with the L shape. And then just kind of push it in there, and then you can tighten it on here so it doesn't fall off. And then this next part is where you're going to plug it into the electrical onshore power. First, so you want to use the surge protector, and you plug this into the electrical shore outlet. And then once you do that, you'll want to check the status to make sure it's good before you actually plug in the RV. So then you just plug in the RV to here, and then you'll have power. If you are at a campsite that has a 50 amp, then you take this adapter and then plug it in to the surge protector. And then on this end, this will allow you to convert the 50 amp to 30. Additionally, we have this just normal 120 volt adapter. So you just plug this in and then plug it into a normal outlet if you need to like charge it at home. So when you first go into the RV, you'll notice this tablet on the wall to the left of you. You can control basic things from this home screen, such as the tanks, the lights, climate, and there's some quick buttons for the lights, the water pump, and climate. Then on this next section you have your tank levels, so you can see the level for the fresh and gray tank, which is the water you've used. Up here you have a control to turn the water pump on and off, and then a button for the tank heaters, which just keeps the tanks from freezing it gets cold. And here are the awning controls, where you can retract and extend the outdoor awning, which is just outside the sliding door. And this next panel, you can control the AC climate settings. On this screen, you can control the lighting for the RV. You can turn the lights on and off with this bulb button, and then the slider underneath allows you to control the brightness. So as we scroll down, you can see the other lights that are available, and most of the lighting at the bottom is outdoor lighting. The status screen doesn't really apply to this model, so we'll go ahead and skip this one. So this screen shows the status of the power systems. At the top you have an auto generator setting. Then you can also start and stop the generator from here. Then you have your coach battery, which is for the 12-volt electrical, the chassis battery, which is the vehicle battery, and then the propane level, so you can see how much propane is left in the tank. So over here on the last screen, you have the controls for the fans in the RV. So you can press these up and down arrows to raise and lower the kitchen vent. And then these top buttons allow you to turn the kitchen and bathroom fans on or off. And here you can see that the kitchen vent fan is just right over here to the right of the panel. To the right of the panel, you can also see the AC unit next to the kitchen vent, which is controlled by this panel. Underneath the tablet, there are 4 buttons which allow you to quickly control the lighting inside of the RV. So right above the tablet, you can see this is the controls for the propane heating systems. First icon controls the heat temperature for the inside of the RV, which comes from floor vents. And then the next icon allows you to heat up the water. You'll want to make sure to turn it on at least 10 to 15 minutes beforehand. And then the last icon is the blower fan for the heat. Directly underneath the panel is the fridge. So if you open it up, at the top, you can lift this door up to see the freezer. Below that, you have some shelves and drawers for the fridge portion, and then this will stay on the whole time and is powered by the coach battery. And then right above the fridge, you have a pull-out for more kitchen counter space. Directly above the fridge on the kitchen counter, there is a 2-burner propane stove. It's covered with this glass door which you can lift up when you need to use it. In the bottom right are the controls. The middle button allows you to light the gas, and then the burners can be controlled with the 2 knobs. Over to the right of the stove is this sink, which is covered with this block for more counter space, and then you can lift it up to access the sink. So then underneath the sink there are 4 drawers. Each drawer has a magnet which keeps them shut. And then over here underneath the stove you have an outlet, and then this knob over here allows you to completely shut off all the electrical system. So above the stove you have some storage space, and there's also some electrical controls. This is the solar charge controller, which shows the charge level on the house battery and if it's charging. Then you have some USB ports, and above that is the inverter button, which you should have on whenever you're driving so that the house battery can charge from the vehicle. This should be turned off whenever you're not driving. And then over on the right side is a hookup for the cable TV, and then an outlet for the microwave. And then to the right, above the sink, is the microwave. In order to use this, you will have to turn on the generator or make sure you're plugged into shore power. Below the microwave, there are a few outlets. The top one is an HDMI hookup. There is a second HDMI port in the overhead storage, which connects to this that I'll show later. And below that is the cable hookup, some outlets, and USB ports. And then over here there's also a mount which can hold a tablet or a small screen. And as we turn around to the right, you can see this cabinet and then a few drawers below it. Inside the cabinet there are 3 shelves which can be adjusted. Below that you have 2 drawers for some additional storage. And then there's also a small cabinet door at the bottom. Next to that you have the overhead storage. So there's an outlet and then also the other end of that HDMI hookup, which allows you to have a DVD player or console up here. And then we have 2 other doors, so there's plenty of space up here. As you close these, they all have a soft close feature. On the side of the cabinet, there are some USB ports and an outlet. And then over here on the wall, there's 2 little cubbies which have netting to hold things. And then one below here. And then as we come back out, we have the couch, which is also a bed. And then this adjustable table, which can be swiveled around. And above the couch, there's this nice window. It has a blind that you can pull down. And then you can also open this little window, which has a screen that slides out with it. And if we close this, it's also possible to open the window without the screen. So if you undo this little button and then pull out the window again, you'll see the screen doesn't come with it. Down to the right of the couch, there is some additional floor storage. So I'm going to show you how to put together the bed at night. So the first step you want to do is take off this the table, so that you just unclip this and pull the table out and then just set it aside somewhere. And then the next step, you want to fold out the bed. So there's clamps under here, unlock it, and then there's a handle here, and then pull it out. And that is fully extended. And then next you just gotta put these cushions apart. The first thing though I want to say is that so you'll notice here we have 2 sets of seat belts, so these can be used as seats. So first I just lay this down flat, and then you have this like kind of Tetris piece. So you can see the indent here matches up with this part. The next step is just get the clasp for this one. For this one you might have to push it against it a bit to be able to get it undone. And then just pull it out. And lay this one flat. And then you'll see here you have a groove here. So you match it up with this part here. And the bed's completely made. Show how to blind all the windows so that you can sleep at night. So first, all the stuff you need is up here. Also, these are for the back window. This long one is for side door. So you'll see there's like some Velcro here. So you put that on these little sticky parts. You can tuck it in, and then at the bottom there's little magnets in here that you just make sure they stick to the door the same place. And then this one is for the front side windows. As you can see, it's kind of angled on this side. So you just go up here and then just stick the magnets to the side. And block out the front and side lights. And this one is just another side one you can put on here. So put on this other side. And then this big long bag. This has the sun visor for the front. So then when you take this out, I want to make sure this part that's indented is at the top. Up, and then you can also put these down to kind of keep it in place. So then front is completely locked down now. And on the side here we have the blind you can pull down, and then over here there's another blind in the kitchen, and then these last two square pieces go over the back windows. And then just cover this one. In the back of the RV is the toilet. The blue button allows you to flush water into it, and then down at the bottom right, there's a lever which empties into the toilet cassette. Above the toilet, there is a bathroom sink. You can pull the sink down from the top here, and that'll reveal the sink. And the faucet can be swiveled into the sink. When you want to empty the water out of the sink, there's a drain in the back over here, which you'll want to make sure is up, and then slowly tilt the sink to let the water drain. There's also a mirror above the sink. You can push on it to open it, and then that'll allow you to access the medicine cabinet. Then next to the mirror, you have the shower head. Take it off the mount when you want to use it. And then on the shower head, this button will allow you to quickly pause the water so you can conserve water. Below that, you have the handle, which allows you to control the water and the temperature. Here is the shower curtain, and it can be opened all around this track. There's also a light in the shower which can be turned on from the switch next to the mirror. There's also a switch here for the fan, which is up on the ceiling. Push up on the handle to open the fan and then pull down to close it. There's also a black button which will allow you to turn it on and off. And then on the other side of the bathroom there is a closet. It has a rod up at the top for hanging clothes, and then space below for storage. Below the closet there are a couple drawers which you can put your clothes in, or additional space for your toiletries. So I'm going to show you how to take the bike rack down. So first of all, before you undo these clamps, you want to make sure you undo these straps here. So first we want to make sure the clamp that's holding up the rack is in the unlock position, and we'll use a square key. And then just turn it to unclamp it. And move these both up, and then that'll allow this to pull down. And over on each side you'll see these straps that you hook on to the pole, and that'll keep it from bouncing up and down when you're driving. So on the rack, there's two racks for the bikes. So you just unstrap this button to it, and then once you put your tires on each of these, then just strap them in. And then this clamp is used for the back bike, and then this longer one you want to attach to the frame of the front bike to keep them from falling out. Right, in this last part, I'll show you how to empty the toilet cassette. There are two buttons that you'll need to press to open the door to the cassette. As you can see, I'm using the black key on the left to help press in the button to open it. So at the bottom of the cassette, under the handle, you'll see this blue lever, which you'll need to squeeze up on to unlock the cassette and then pull it out. Once you have it out, there's a part at the top you can swivel up, which is where you will be emptying the contents from once you screw off the blue cap. I would recommend emptying at least once a day if you're able to. Also, make sure that you rinse it out with water before you put it back into the RV. On the back side, there is also a handle which is folded up that will allow you to roll the cassette with you when you're taking it either to a dump station or any toilet where you can flush it after dumping. We would recommend to minimize going number 2, but if you have to, make sure to empty it as soon as you can to avoid any smell. And then one more thing to note, when you're dumping, make sure you press this blue button. That will allow it to vent air when you are dumping. And when you're done, just slide the cassette back into a slot and then close the cassette door. Please make sure to add toilet digester, which we have in the bathroom area, each time after emptying the tank. Please only use 1-ply or RV graded toilet paper.